Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I am so excited to be joined by Angela Cunningham. Angela, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And your job is so unique because Angela works at the U.S. Embassy in Sarajevo. And so I would love for you to tell everybody a little bit about, what it is you do and a little bit about a typical day in your life. I know it's in your highlight, but I think we should set the scene and just tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So I'm a diplomat. So I got hired after a very interesting interview. My job is a secretary, but for the State Department is considered as operation management as a specialist, which is basically so you have three different teams, and one is assigned to the ambassador. Another one is assigned to the political section chief, and one is assigned to the economic section chief, which is my title right now. What I do basically is make sure that the chief, the advisor to the ambassador, is I manage her calendar, I manage conference meetings that she might have, I manage her motor pool services if she has to go to DY, I manage her travel, her travel. I manage her reservation for the hotel. And if somebody is coming from DC or the officers from the State Department coming from DC, I make sure that I have information ready for them, hotels, motor pool, places to go. If they stay for a short time, 3 days of a week, I make sure that they're on top of them as far as like assigning where they need to go as far as meeting goes. Actually, this past Friday, the assistant secretary to the European side for the Balkans, Miss Assistant Secretary O'Brien, he was here for 2 days, and I was able to help. I was assigned as an officer, control officer, to help the town hall, which was a very interesting experience. I needed to make sure that the room where he was about to answer questions to the local staff on the employment from the embassy in general. I need to make sure the seats are available, their computers are available for questions for online, that he was needed to have the room reserved. I was able to also ask to make sure what he wants to eat after the town hall. So that was pretty neat experience. And
That's pretty cool. So it
yeah.
seems like a lot of logistics. And the reason I wanted you to share that is because you got there through a very circuitous route. I mean, because I was reading your background and you graduated with a degree in psychology. And then from there, you found yourself working as a financial analyst. I mean, also far away from this, but you go from a degree in psychology to being a financial analyst. How did you even think of applying for that first opportunity? And when you did, were there some knowledge gaps that may have made the jump from social science to finance challenging? And if there were, how did you overcome them? I know that's a lot of questions.
Yes, you're right. So I applied as a financial representative for Andrews Credit Union in Maryland, and Joy Base Andrew. My idea was original just to save money to continue for a master's degree in counseling, right? So during my time, so I learned a lot of things. And during my time working in the bank, I remember doing like meeting. I met my previous supervisor, which he was the accountant chief for the headquarters in JB Andrews. And yeah, I took the opportunity because I began to enjoy finances a little bit more, and I noticed I was good at it too. And we had a great co-workers on a solid training program. I was able to learn many processes, such as the process fiscal, reconciliation, obligations, analyzing and reviewing accounting pay adjustments, and along with the DoD and defense regulations. So how I overcame those gaps. So I'm not gonna lie, there were days that I wanted to give up. There were days that I went home. I was like, no, I don't think I can do this anymore because I don't get it. But one thing I needed to put myself together and like to show my kids that there was no task that it was impossible for me, and that I need to put just 100% in everything I do. So I overcame those challenges because I continued to push myself to get better in whatever task I was assigned. So
I love that because it makes you more human, right? It shows us that everything didn't come really easily to you, and you were also very vulnerable, so I appreciate that. But I feel like there's a lesson here for other military spouses about working outside our comfort zone. Do you think that's the case?
Yes, I think as a military spouse, we all face different challenges, unique based on your behavior, based on your personality, right? One of them we all have in common is that we move from place to place, following our partners. I think that what helped me through the years was continue to be open-minded about the opportunity that present itself. I can say that sometimes it is easy, sometimes it's not. But the key is to take each opportunity as an opportunity to learn something new and to be persistent. I stayed home for 18 years, taking care of my kids, homeschooling them sometimes, and experienced 5 deployments. And everything, while I was still going to school on my own. So as my son got older, I decided to work full time. And in the last 4 years, I have been a full-time employee, mother, and a military wife. And it has not been an easy transition, but I know it's all possible if we put our mind to it.
I love your story because I see myself in a lot of your story. And I know that's the whole reason we're doing these military spouse highlights is so we can inspire other spouses who can recognize ourselves in your stories. And so for me, that was you because I was a foreign born spouse. And so English was not my first language. And then coming to a new culture, because we talked ahead of time and you said that you were not from the US originally. And then you came and it was, like you like it's a foreign country at times, right? You're American, but sometimes, because you've lived so much overseas, and we did the same thing. We lived overseas for 2 assignments, went back to back from Japan to Germany. And I didn't get started until later when my son got older as well. So I'm like, oh my God, I am Angela. I feel so seen. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's really, really inspirational though, the way that you made the pivots and it wasn't a big deal because you were going to do it and you were going to persevere. But when I was reading your highlights, it seems that networking played a big role in your career. I mean, how were you able to find, like, can you tell us a little bit about what role it did play and how you were able to find your next opportunity? Because like I said, you came from a social science background and then went into finance and then went to consulate work, embassy work, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's been a really, really amazing and very blessed experience, opportunity for myself. So networking has played a huge role in my life and in my military experience as a spouse. I think when I began to work at the bank, I learned so much from my coworkers and I talk more to the customers, right? And that's how I met my previous supervisor, that he gave me the opportunity to work in the finance and world, but from the military scale. So when we received these orders for coming overseas, but working for the Department of State, or the State Department, sorry, I reached out. The first thing I did was my husband was like, let's reach out to HR to see what can I do, right? Can I do something in the Department of State aside from being a diplomat, as I used to represent America here overseas. And when that happened, I was able to reach out to other officers here at the embassy, and they were able to provide me resources about new jobs opening for in the embassy in summer or in fall. And so thanks to the network I've built over the last 3 years, working at the bank in the accounting section for the Air Force. And so I was able to apply for my job right now, and with all the skills that I learned along the way, I was able to get hired. Today, I continue to build my network with other officers in the Department of State and other personnel from the embassy. As I continue to develop myself as secretary or OMS, as it is called in the Department of State. So I think one of the opportunities that I have, which is by networking, is just continue talking to different people that have different jobs, different hats in the embassy, and that has given me a little more opportunity to see what other chances that I have later on.
No, I love it because you're kind of like foot stomping what we say all the time, which is you have to be proactive. Like when you know you're going to the next installation, be proactive in networking before you get there. And I'm so glad that your husband encouraged you to like, oh, you need to reach out to people in the embassy where we're going and make sure, like, hey, that you've done everything. What are the opportunities? I think that is fantastic. And now I understand how you've had such an interesting career journey. So, have the different experiences kind of inspired you to have a new career goal from when you graduated with a degree in psychology? I mean, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Thank you for the kind words. So I'm a girl from Peru, and my whole goal, leaving high school, going to Germany, going to school in Germany where I met my husband, was actually used to go to school and learn international in business, and one day have my own hotel and run my own, how would you call my own R&B. So
Yeah,
right,
fantastic.
Cusco, and then after that, you travel the world, right? So today I'm a woman that along with her airmen, we have been to many places. In each place, I have learned something new about myself and the military community. At this moment, I continue to see many doors with a lot of opportunities opening to me and my family. So I do hope that in the next 10 years, my children's continue to be proud of me, but more importantly, embrace all the opportunities that life throws at us every day. I still intend to finish my master's degree in psychology one day, hopefully.
Okay.
But for right now, my new career path is pushing me to the direction of finances, so I will see where that leads me.
I love that. You're just keeping your opportunity, you're keeping yourself open to opportunities. And I love it. You have like such a flexible mindset. I think that is very inspiring. And we could all do with a little bit more of that. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. I mean, so I want to give you an opportunity at this point to give us any closing thoughts or additional words of inspiration for the military spouses out there.
Of course. So one of the times I homeschooled my son when he was young. I remember one day we were trying to read codes. So I was trying to make him interested in the homeschooling, right? And so he's one that, Mama, I don't want to read this code. I'm going to make my own code. I said, okay, go ahead, baby. So he said, his code, one day he said, never stop believing in yourself because you might make something big. So I have that note here, and I always have it in my fridge. This has been
I love that.
8 years long ago, 8 years ago, right? So I don't know if I'm going to ever make something big, but I know that all that I have accomplished, one big part is thanks to the military life and the ability to surround myself with great people. Military life is not easy, but it does give you many opportunities, right? And no matter what your career path is, do not give up and embrace new opportunities. So that's what I will say. And again, thank you for the National Military Spouse Network and the USAA to share my military spouse career journey.
I love it. And it's so inspirational. I really appreciate you spending time with us, especially being in Sarajevo. I know it's not that late, but we're definitely infringing on her dinner time. But you can read more about Angela actually right online. Read her entire highlight. Her story is very fascinating. So we hope you'll go there and check it out. And we hope that you'll share your story with us. So make sure you apply, and maybe we'll be featuring you next. So with that, I hope to see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.